Hi friends, welcome to our channel. This is part 4 of thread operations tutorial. This is a continuation of part 3 video. In this video, we'll discuss how to design Angular 4 application. To design this Angular 4 application, I will be using CSS Bootstrap in this website. Here, click get started, and then here CDN path is there for CSS file. Just copy this, and in our Angular application, index.html file is there. Here pasting before the 8 closing tag. Next, go to this website, and JavaScript file is the jQuery script. Copy this 3 script files, and within the body tag paste it. Okay, let me save this. Okay, here as you know that the default component of a Angular application is app component. First, we will start from here. App component.html file. Here is the default HTML code for this application. This will display like this. Okay, we will start our design from here. So let me remove this code. Instead of that, we need div with class container. Hit tab button. Okay, this is the shortcut to create a div element with class container. To use this shortcut, we have to install emmet abbreviation in Visual Studio. Okay, then this shortened method will help us to design our application easily, and we can concentrate on our application logic. Now inside this container div, I want to display employees component. For that, in employees component, selector is there. So copy this selector and pasting here. Hit tab. Okay. So here we are going to display employees component. So and here is the corresponding employees.html component.html file. Inside that we have default paragraph tag. Instead of that, we need a div element. Inside that we have header tag h2.jumbotron, which is from Bootstrap, with class data bg secondary. This is for background color, and then text white. This is for text color. Then hit tab. Here we have to mention the header text employee register. Okay, I want to align this employee register text as a middle one. For that, here I am using style attribute in the text align center. Now, okay, let's look into the browser. Here we have the clean header for this entire application. Then here we need two div container with grid system. First, we need a div here, div with class row. Hit tab. Okay, inside that we need two divs, div with class column md, div with class col md6. Okay, like this I need same. Okay, I just copied and pasted again. Inside the first div, we want to show the employee component. For that, in employee component, I just copying this selector and pasting here. In second div, I want to show the employee list component. So let me copy from employee list component the selector app employee list. Okay, in second div, I am pasting that. Okay, let me save this and go back to the application. Here we have default HTML from the two components, employee and employee list. Okay, inside the first div we want to show a form to insert update employees. In the second div, we want to show all the employees that we have inserted inside their table. Okay, let's look how we can do that. Um, First, we'll create this form inside the employee component to create and update operation. Okay, for that, start with employee service. Here we imported employee model and we declared a property of selected employee. Then we have to inject this employee service inside this employees component. For that, we have to import employee service statement here. Import from that shared employee service and yeah, employee service. Okay, make this employee service in part of providers array. And then we have to pass an instance of this employee service in the constructor private employee service. It's of type employee service. In order to use same instance of this injected employee service inside the employee and employee list component, okay, I just copying this one and paste into employee component. Here we have to put two dots because first it has to get out from this employee folder, then we have shared folder. For that I'm copying this one and pasting into employee list component. Okay, and then providers. Now we can access employee service from these three components. Now I am going to design employee form inside this employee component .html using the property selected employee which is from employee service. Okay, for that we need a form tag, form with class emp form. Here we don't need an action attribute, just delete it. And here we have to mention the local reference of this form. For that, employee form, it's equal to ng form. Okay, now I am going to design this form using Bootstrap classes form row and form group. Okay, first we need a div with class form row. Okay, inside that we need two divs with equal width. So div with class form group. So like this I need one more div. So just copying and pasting below that one. Inside this first div we need a text box. So input with a class type form control. Form control which is from Bootstrap. Then hit tab button. Here we don't need this type text because by default it will be a text only. Then we have to add name attribute here. Name equal first name. Then we have to add local reference for this text box. So first name equal ng model. Okay, now I am going to bind employee service property selected employee into this form using two-way data binding. Okay, for that ng model equal Now we have to provide the property first name from the employee model. Before that, in current we are in employee component. Okay, here we have injected employee service. Here we have injected employee service. So first we have to copy this one, then dot, which is inside the employee service. So that is our selected employee from employee service. Okay, this one, and then property name. So here first name. Okay, so I just copying this one and pasting into second div. Here I am changing the first name as second name, last name. Let me save this all the changes and go back to the application. Here we will get a error because now in order to work with template we have to import forms module into this application. For that, in app.module.ts file we have to import forms module. Import from Angular forms. Okay. Forms module, and we have to make this part of import array. Okay, now here you can see the two text boxes created. It's better to add placeholder to identifying these text boxes, and we have to specify the width for these text boxes. For that, here adding class colmd6, in placeholder attribute. Here first name. Okay, copy this one and pasting in last name input. Okay, let's look into the browser. Here space is the first name and the last name is displaying. Like that we can create two more text boxes. So I just copy this and pasting one more. Okay, now we have four text boxes: first name, last name, employee code, and then city. Okay, now we have to add two buttons for submit and reset. Okay, so copy this one more time and paste it. Instead of input, we are replacing this by button with class btn, then btn underscore lg, then we have btn block, so that this button will take full width of this call md6, and then we have last class button info. This is used to add for background and foreground color for this submit button. Okay, hit tab. Okay, here button text will be submit. So copy this one and replacing this input. Here button text reset. Here in first button the button type submit. In second one the button is or normal one, that is that's why we are mentioning it as button. Here we are using different class button secondary. So this reset button will be in different background color. So then we have to make it a call md8 and then this for 4. Okay, let me save this and go back to the application. Okay, here we have two buttons with a different background colors. Now I would like to integrate font awesome icons into these two buttons. Here is the font awesome icons. This is a CDN path for this font awesome icons. For some submit button, okay, first we have to copy this CDN path in HTML index.html file. Before the closing head tag, link rel style sheet, then href will be this one. Save this. Let me select icon for save. Okay, first save. So I will use this button icon. Okay, here using I tag I dot class for, then class for with save. Hit tab. Okay, for reset button and searching with name repeat. So I will use this one here. I tag with a class for, then for with the repeat. Hit tab. Okay. Save this and go back to the application. Here you will see the buttons with icons. Okay. Inside this file, we can add some CSS for entire application. Okay. For that, I am using global styles.css file. Inside this file, so inside this file, I am pasting some CSS. Okay. Save this and go back to the application. Okay, let's look this. We have added some background colors for this employee form using this custom employee form class. Okay, in our next video we will discuss operations for reset and the submit button, then validations. Thank you for watching this for CRUD operation tutorial. Please watch continuously. Thank you.